Hey, Edmonton. I am live here from San Diego. I'm here at a real estate conference. So last week I said, hey, there won't be a video next week because I'm out of town. But I figured I could come to you a little bit earlier just so that you guys could get an update about what's going on in Edmonton's real estate market. I know it's snowing, or it snowed yesterday, and I am in sunny California at a real estate conference. So I'm coming back tomorrow. So I will be enjoying the snow with you guys as well. So I'm just going to take a look at what's happened in the last 7 days in Edmonton for Edmonton's real estate market. We are currently at 2,811 listings. So we came up like by 3 from last week. Now, if you've been following me along this last couple months, you'll notice that the inventory is going up every single week. Not by much, but it is slowly going up. This is quite normal. This is not abnormal. It's normal for listings to keep going up every week, especially in the fall months. You're going to start to see that continue to climb. Now, it climbs more when listings come on and nothing sells. So when you see a smaller amount, it still means that properties are selling. It just means that there's not as many properties coming on, A, and B, there's not as many sales. And we're going to see that moving into the next few months here. And I would say that the listing won't jump probably until about February. We'll start to see an increase. That's what I've been noticing when we've been doing these market updates. So if you look at St. Albert, Sherwood Park, Spruce Grove, and Beaumont, they're all very similar. Everyone kind of went up by a little bit, and nothing too crazy, nothing to say, wow, we're in seller's market. Now, we are in seller's market in the sense that there's hardly any listings to look at. But when you look at the sales, so take a look at pending sales. We had 163 sales in the last 7 days compared to 148. So like I said to you, there's still properties moving. People are still writing offers. Now, this was when there was no snow. Now, I don't know what's gonna happen in this next week. We might see a slowdown. Now, you can see 163 versus 148 the week before. And if I was a guessing person for this next 7 days, maybe in the next 14 days, we might see this number drop a little bit temporarily, as we have, just like when people we forget how to drive in the winter. We also forget that we live in winter. So a lot of people kind of go, oh, I'm done. I don't want to look at houses. I don't want to move in the winter. And they stop looking. But then they realize the reality is, oh, I better go because the interest rates might go up again. In the US, they're 8%. They just got to 8%. And they're saying that they might even come up one more time before the end of the year here in the US. So in Canada, I don't know what's going to happen. I know that Canada is very much looking at the US all the time in regards to what they should be doing. But it's important for you to understand that people will pause for a bit and then they're going to go back out, because I show houses all year round, not just in spring and summer. So now, as a seller, if you don't need to sell in the next few months, wait until January to put your house up on the market. We're going to start to see holiday time and parties and all that kind of stuff. And it makes it a lot more complicated for people to look at houses. There are not as many people going to look at houses because they're going on winter vacations, they're going to Christmas parties. So pending sales will be affected. If you look at this last 7 days, we still had decent weather. It was still nice and warm, and it kind of felt a little like summer. I was kind of hoping we'd have a little bit nicer fall until like November, and it didn't work because, you guys, of course, we got a bunch of snow yesterday. So if you take a look at St. Albert, Sherwood Park, Spruce Grove, and Beaumont, all those numbers stayed relatively similar in this last 7 days. Nothing too crazy. When you look at the sold numbers, these are the people that removed conditions. So they were either pending or they put it in an unconditional offer, which we're not seeing as much of. We're just seeing people fulfill. Now, for pending conditional, you usually see about 7 business days is the standard. You can sometimes see it go quicker or slower, depending on if you're trying to avoid a multiple offer or if you're trying to make it more appealing to the clients. So if you take a look at the solds, we had very similar. Last week we were pending at 148, and now we're pending or sold at 159. So don't forget, there's some that carried over from the week before. And this is 159 versus 167 last week. And in St. Albert, Sherwood Park, and Spruce Grove and Beaumont, very much, again, nothing too crazy. Any update regarding the interest rate? So the interest rate I was just talking about, like, I'm in the US right now for a real estate conference for a brokerage, and they talked about the US interest rate, but I haven't heard anything yet on the Canadian interest rate. Just so you know, I don't believe the interest rate is going to change by like 1% in the next year. I think it's going to take a while for that interest rate to change. It may go up, probably might be I think the guess is it's either going to stay flat or it's going to go up before the end of the year. I don't see it's going to decrease. They may end up decreasing it next year, but when I say decrease, it's not going to come down to what it was last year at under 3%. It's not even. I don't even think it's going to come under 4. I think it's going to stay in the 5 range, even because I think some of the interest rates you're seeing right now are 6%. So also don't forget interest rate is dependent on your specific financial situation, how much down payment you're putting down, what your credit rating is, how much you're buying in terms of the property. So all that is, it's not just a generic thing. So when you're looking at the news, don't assume that's your interest rate. Make sure to talk to a mortgage broker. So compared to last year, our sales in the last 7 days were a little lower than we were last year at this time. And that's actually on trend for this entire time I've been talking to you. We spoke about how last year the market was slow. It went from crazy to like complete slowdown, and it was really slow. And we were all wondering what was going on. But this year is slower right now at this time compared to last year. Last year, we were trying to adjust ourselves, and I think we have adjusted. And now we're back to just typical kind of motion. St. Albert 6 versus 11 sales last year, Sherwood Park 9 versus 11, Spruce Grove 10 versus 11. All the surrounding areas, very similar. Beaumont 6 versus 5. Their numbers haven't changed too much over time. A lot of people are moving to Spruce Grove because of how affordable it is compared to the rest of the surrounding areas. St. Albert and Sherwood Park, sure, they're surrounding areas to Edmonton close, but they're actually sometimes more expensive. Their property taxes are more expensive than Edmonton itself. Spruce Grove and Beaumont is typically less than Edmonton itself. Again, depends on the area, depends on the house, but that's kind of in general what we're looking at. So if you have questions about the Edmonton real estate market, make sure to tune in again next Tuesday when I talk again. And if you haven't watched the monthly market update, it's live on the YouTube channel. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye.